As we speak, a monster hurricane is churning its way toward Jamaica, and the entire nation is holding its breath. But how does a country actually get ready for a potential disaster of this scale? Well, we're going to break down the anatomy of this response, from the highest levels of government all the way down to the personal, tough choices people are facing in the storm's path. Okay, let's dive in.
So, this is Hurricane Melissa. As of early Sunday morning, it's a powerful Category 4 storm, sitting just about 195 kilometers southeast of Kingston. We're talking maximum sustained winds hitting 220 kilometers per hour, and the forecast? It's projecting a direct hit. I mean, just look at this satellite image. You get a real sense of the immense scale we're dealing with. The threat isn't some abstract thing anymore. It is right there.
And you know it's serious when the people in charge stop mincing words. Get this. This is from Hugh Grant, the CEO of Jamaica's public service company. He's saying the damage could be so bad, so unprecedented, that they won't just be fixing things, they'll be starting over, from scratch. That is a truly chilling forecast, and it really sets the stage for everything that's about to unfold.
Now, to really understand the urgency you're seeing in the response to Melissa, you have to rewind a bit. You have to look back at a storm that came before it, because the memory of Hurricane Beryl, well, that memory is shaping every single decision being made right now.
And this right here is the crucial point, made by Minister Darrell Vaz. He's basically reminding everyone, hey, remember Beryl? That wasn't even a direct hit, and you saw how devastating it was. Now they're staring down the barrel of a much stronger storm, and it's aiming right for them. So just how bad was Beryl?
Let's try to put the damage from Beryl into perspective, starting with the money. Just in the agriculture sector alone, the losses hit nearly $5 billion. For an island nation, that is a staggering blow, not just to the economy, but to food security. That's a number nobody has forgotten.
And of course, that financial cost translates directly to a human one. We're talking about almost 49,000 individual farmers whose lives were just completely upended by that storm. These are families whose entire livelihood was literally washed away in just a matter of hours.
And the devastation didn't stop there. It extended to livestock, with over 300,000 farm animals lost. So you see, when you hear officials warning that Melissa could be far, far worse, these are the hard, devastating numbers that are burned into their memory. This is the lesson that was learned the hard way, and it's driving every single decision today.
Okay, so with that stark history fresh in their minds, Jamaica has mobilized a massive, coordinated national response to face down Hurricane Melissa.
Let's circle back to that warning from the JPS CEO about rebuilding. This slide really clarifies the stakes. See, restoration is about repair, patching things up. Rebuilding is what you do after total destruction. So when the head of the entire power company starts talking about rebuilding, he's preparing the country for a scenario where large parts of the grid aren't just damaged, they're simply gone.
And this just shows you how wide this mobilization is. I mean, you've got the big utility providers, JPS, Flow, and Digicel, with their crews on standby, ready to deploy. The Norman Manley International Airport is closed, warehouses are stocked with food, and over 650 emergency shelters are open and ready. And you even see public appeals from officials, not just for safety, but to prevent things like the theft of generator fuel, which, could seriously slow down recovery efforts.
But here's the thing. A national plan is one thing. What happens when that plan meets the messy, complicated reality of individual human experience? Well, that's where the picture gets a whole lot more complicated. The message coming from the very top is crystal clear. You have the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, urging everyone to take this threat seriously and do what they need to do to protect themselves. For a lot of people in vulnerable spots, that means one thing: evacuate.
So that brings us to this critical question. With a Category 4 monster storm on the way, and the government pleading with people to leave, why on earth would anyone in a high-risk area choose to stay put?
And this quote from Anne-Marie Chamberlain, who lives in the very vulnerable fishing village of Port Royal, it just gets right to the heart of it. It's not about ignoring the danger of the hurricane. It's about a past trauma. 21 years ago, her community did the right thing. They went to a shelter, and they got robbed. People stole their belongings. That single experience created this deep-seated mistrust that, for them, actually outweighs the fear of the storm.
And that's really the bottom line here. Disaster response isn't just about logistics and weather forecasts and warnings. It's about trust.
This tension, this gap between official advice and a community's lived, painful experience is one of the toughest challenges that emergency managers face, not just in Jamaica, but everywhere in the world.
All these actions we're seeing, the warnings, the shelters, the mobilization, none of this is improvised. It's not happening on the fly. It's all being guided by a very detailed national framework, a playbook designed for exactly this kind of crisis. And this is it, the Disaster Risk Management Act of 2015. This document is the legal and structural backbone for everything we've been talking about. It basically lays out who is responsible for what and what powers they have when a crisis like this hits.
What's interesting is the Act even has a legal definition for what actually counts as a disaster. It's any event or threat that causes damage so big that the state itself has to step in and intervene. Hurricane Melissa obviously clears that bar, and this definition is what formally triggers the entire national response machine.
So here's how it works, broken down into 5 key functions. First, the Act sets up committees at both the national and the local parish levels to coordinate. Second, it requires a unified national disaster plan. Third, it gives the Prime Minister the power to officially declare a disaster area, which unlocks all sorts of emergency powers. Fourth, it authorizes the coordination of all the different agencies we've talked about. And finally, and this is crucial, it gives them the authority to manage evacuations. That's the power that opened those 650 shelters, and even take over private property if it's necessary to save lives.
So what this law really does is act as the connective tissue for the whole national effort. It's the reason the Prime Minister's order to evacuate, the power company's standby plan, and the opening of a local shelter down the road are all part of the same single unified playbook.
And so, as Hurricane Melissa barrels down, a nation's preparedness is about to be put to the ultimate test. The plans are in place, the warnings have gone out, but it leaves us with this one final critical question. Is a plan, no matter how detailed or how thorough, ever truly enough when you're faced with the raw power of nature and the incredibly delicate complexities of human trust?